All right, the ingredients: some 80/20 ground beef. We're going to use some minced garlic, green pepper, an onion, crushed tomatoes, whole peeled tomatoes, of course spaghetti, black pepper, sea salt, some complete seasoning, and garlic powder. Okay, the first order of business is to brown our ground beef. We're gonna just brown it up. We're gonna put a little garlic powder, probably a little onion in it. Drain it and set it to the side. We want to do this step first and then work on the sauce aspect. We'll add the meat in later after we brown it, but we do want to brown it. So we're just going to sit there and let that go a little bit, and then we'll pick back up in a minute. All right, we got this ground beef browned up. Now all I'm going to do now is just transfer it to a colander and strain off the excess grease, and then put it in a bowl and let it sit for a little bit while we work on the tomato sauce aspect of our sauce. So let me do that, and I will catch back up with you in just a second. All right, we're back on the stove. What we're going to do now is just add a little bit of olive oil to the bottom of the pan. I didn't worry about cleaning out my pan. We could still use some of the remaining grease from that hamburger for sauteing our vegetables. So what we're going to do now, we got the oil in there, heat it up. We're going to just add some onion and some bell pepper. Add all that. I like kind of a chunky sauce, and these peppers are going to add a little bit of a contrast as opposed to that super smooth sauce we have with the crushed tomatoes, and then we're going to crush up our whole tomatoes as well. But to this green pepper and onion, we're going to add some salt and just a little bit of pepper while we saute them. About halfway through, then we're going to add our garlic. That way we ensure that we don't burn it up. All right, so let me go ahead and start on these, and halfway through I'll bring you guys back in. We'll add that garlic. All right, so we're halfway through on the sauteing of our veggies. Now we're going to add in a couple tablespoons of this minced garlic. Now if you like garlic, you can go heavy on the garlic. If you're not a huge garlic fan, you can go a little lighter. So I got 2 tablespoons of garlic going in there, and we're going to saute that up for a few minutes as well before we add in our tomatoes. So got that on in there, smelling good. I'm telling you, peppers, onions, garlic make your whole house smell great. So we're just going to let this go for another few minutes, and then we'll start putting those tomatoes in. Hey folks, we're back. Now what I want to do now is add in our whole tomatoes. We're going to drain a little bit of the liquid off of them, and then we're just going to add in that whole can. Now this is a 28-ounce can. So we're going to add those tomatoes in. What we're going to do is take a potato masher, and we're just going to mash those up a little bit. And as they cook more, they're going to break down more. But we want to get them started with this potato masher. These are whole peeled tomatoes. And they were in olive oil with little basil and thyme, I believe, or garlic, I'm sorry, garlic and basil. So that's the first step we're going to do. Stir it up a little bit. Then we're going to add in our can of crushed tomatoes. Again, that's another 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. All right, stir that on in. Now, I did forget to mention an ingredient, pretty much the most important ingredient in my opinion outside of the garlic, and that's some Italian seasoning. So we're gonna add not quite a palmful of Italian seasoning. That Italian seasoning's got thyme, rosemary, oregano, and sage in there. So we're gonna add a little bit of that and let it simmer for a little bit, and then we'll come back and we'll taste it before we start adding in our salt and our garlic powder and other stuff like that. So this is just the first step. We're gonna let that simmer down for a little while. Then we're gonna come back, taste it, and then start building the layers of flavor to the sauce. Okay guys, we'll see you back in a minute. All right guys, we've allowed this sauce to simmer for about 20 minutes. Now it's time for us to start adding our other seasonings and ingredients, and then we're gonna add our meat back in there as well and let it simmer too. So, one thing I know we're gonna go with, we're gonna use some of this complete seasoning and go pretty heavy with the complete. Turn that down. As well as some more garlic powder. Like I say, we like garlic. I love the way garlic tastes in spaghettis and pasta. So we've got a lot of garlic in that complete seasoning. We added a lot of the minced garlic at the beginning. And now we're gonna add some garlic powder to it as well. All right. We got black pepper. Go with some black pepper. Now this is seasoned to taste now. So make sure you taste your food while you're cooking it, just to make sure it's up to your standards, to your liking. All right. And we're just going to add just a little bit of salt right now. And we can always add more salt as we need to. So a little bit of salt. Now we may and we may not add some sweetener to this, whether it be sugar or a Splenda or honey or whatever the case may be, whatever you use. But we'll figure that out shortly when we taste it. But now, just want to put those particular seasonings ingredients in it now, and get me a spoon, and we'll just have a quick taste and see what else we need to do to it. All right. So salt wise, it's actually pretty good. It's tasty, but I do need to add some type of sweetener to it. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to add just a little bit of honey to that. Give me 1 sec. All right, guys, I got some honey, and we're just going to add just a little bit in there. Then we're going to taste it again. Honey is a natural sweetener. So sometimes I do like using honey as a substitute for regular white sugar or even sweetener in a particular dishes, and you won't taste it. It won't taste like honey, but it will definitely cut that bitterness of those tomatoes and that tartness and balance it out real well. So let's go ahead and give it another little taste. Ooh-wee. It's getting there, y'all. It's gonna add just a little bit more, and that should do it. All right, that should cover us right there. Stir it on up. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna add back in that ground beef. Now I've got about 1.5 pounds of ground beef. It's quite a bit, but it's actually it's gonna be a pretty big pot of or pan of sauce. And you can always refrigerate it and or freeze it for later use. So go ahead and incorporate this hamburger and let it simmer a little while longer. We're gonna taste it one more time and just let it simmer, and while we get those spaghetti noodles together. So catch you back in a little bit. All right, y'all, here's that sauce. It's all done and ready. After we added the meat and the other seasons, we allowed it to simmer for like another 30 minutes or so. Our noodles are in the process of cooking right now, so I just have this on the lower setting on the eye to keep it hot. But that is the finished sauce. good and meaty, just like we like it. So we're going to finish up those noodles. I got a little garlic bread in the oven, and when that's done, we'll plate up and we'll give it a taste. See you guys back here in a minute. All right, y'all, we're all set. Ready to plate up. Got a bit of spaghetti here. We're just going to add a little sauce to the top of that thing. Got a piece of garlic bread in the oven ready to come out. And there we are. Plate of spaghetti and homemade pasta sauce, meat sauce. Here's that plate. Go ahead and dig in. So good. So good. It's seasoned just right. Not too salty, not too sweet. It's just right. Now generally, you know, we do mix our noodles and meat together. But since I was doing this for the tube, I had to make it look cute. And I did it like this. But sometimes we do this too, just when we want to try to act fancy. But I'm telling you, follow the recipe, easy to do, tastes good, season it to your taste. Make sure you start off slow and just build up your flavors. That way you don't overdo it. If you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe, share the video. I truly appreciate you guys. I plan on doing another live soon. So if you would, just put the notification bell on as well. That way you'll know when I have more recipes or when we do go live again. Once again, I appreciate you. God bless you, and have a good night.